I'm Chef Professor Anand Mittal, comfortably seated in my terrace garden surrounded by herbs and vegetables. You can see okra growing here. Such a big one, it will be harvested today. And there are so many others, three of them at the back. Flowers, okra flowers, and so many other things. Anyway, so I'm here to read out from my book, Simply Cooking Theory and Principles. I'll be reading out on my chapter on herbs from the first edition. I turn to page 63. Herbs. The word herb comes from the Latin word herba, meaning grass. Herbs are defined as the leaves and stems of soft-stemmed, non-woody plants. The types of plants from which the common herbs originate primarily grow in temperate climates. Herbs and their use can be traced back to ancient Egypt, Greece, and China. It would seem that they were originally gathered for culinary purposes. It has been said that medicine developed as a byproduct of cooking. This duality of purpose still exists for many herbs today. Herbs can be categorized as fresh herbs. Fresh herbs are those which are used without alteration, freshly picked. They are preferably most suitable as their flavor is most complete. Dried herbs are the same as fresh herbs except they have had their water removed, which concentrates the flavor. 1 teaspoon of dried herbs is roughly equivalent to 3 teaspoons of fresh herbs. Pickled herbs. Pickled herbs are fresh herbs which can be stored in brine or vinegar, or a mixture of brine and vinegar. And fourth, frozen herbs may be either directly frozen or between 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or blanched and then frozen. They have the flavoring power quite similar to that of fresh herbs. Cold foods should sit at least 1 hour in the refrigerator after the addition of herbs to allow for full release and combination of flavors. In the preparation of hot foods, they can be added at the beginning, middle, or at the end of the cooking process, determined by the type of flavoring and type of food. Fresh herbs take a very short time to release their flavor. These should be added at the end of the cooking process. Ground herbs and dry herbs require more time for their flavor to be released and should be added at the middle of the cooking process. Nutrition. Spices and herbs have very little nutritional value themselves. They do allow us to decrease fat and salt content in products, yet still maintain good flavor. Reducing fat and salt content can leave food very bland, but spices and herbs bring it back to life. Storage and handling. To store fresh herbs, it is best to pick them right before they bloom. It is at this point that their flavor is the strongest. Each type should be separately wrapped in a slightly damp paper towel placed in a plastic bag and stored under refrigeration. Fresh herbs are very delicate and should be handled with great care. If fresh herbs begin to turn brown, they can be chopped finely and combined with sufficient oil to keep them moist. This mixture can be stored in a jar in the refrigerator and will keep well for at least 2 weeks. Dried herbs should be dated and stored in airtight containers. Dried herbs should last approximately 6 months before they start to lose their flavor. Frozen herbs should also be dated and they should be stored in sealable heavy plastic bags. Some commonly used herbs are basil. Basil is one of the most widely used herbs in the world, from pesto to spaghetti sauce to dessert treats. Capers. Capers have long been a favorite in the Mediterranean region. The small green herb bud lend a piquant, sour and salty flavor to salads, dressings, sauces, vegetables, and a variety of vegetable dishes. Chives and garlic chives are an excellent choice for those who want onion or garlic flavor but to a milder degree. Cilantro. Cilantro is a milder version of coriander. It looks very similar to parsley, but the flavors are quite different. The roots are used to make Thai curry pastes. It is used in cilantro grilled chicken breast, grilled shrimp, and cilantro pesto pizza, etc. Dill weed and dill seed. Dill weed dates back to 3000 years and has long been used in homeopathic remedies for hiccups and stomach distress. Dill is a flavorful addition to seafood, dips, salads, dressings, vegetables, and more. Edible flowers. They make food not only taste good but also look pretty. Oregano. Oregano became popular in the US due to servicemen returning from World War II demanding pizza. Yet it has always been popular in the Mediterranean. Rosemary. Rosemary is a versatile aromatic herb used in a wide variety of dishes, including fruit salads, soups, vegetables, meats, especially lamb, fish, eggs, stuffings, dressings, and even desserts. Red snapper is classically roasted with rosemary. Sage. Once prized for its medicinal value, the most popular use of sage these days is in stuffing for the Thanksgiving turkey. It helps digest grease in fatty foods. Tarragon. Tarragon is a bittersweet herb with a hint of licorice flavor, but too much can overwhelm the recipe. Thyme. Thyme is good not only for savory dishes but also for desserts. Parsley. One of the most common and versatile herbs used in Western cooking, parsley has a light, peppery flavor that complements other seasonings. It's most used in sauces, salads, and sprinkled over dishes at the end of cooking for a flash of green and fresh taste. Flat leaf or Italian parsley has the best texture and flavor for cooking. Curly parsley is best used only as a garnish. For example, grilled artichokes with parsley and garlic, pommes frites with parsley butter, etc. Mint. Although more commonly associated with sweet treats, mint lends its cooling property bite to plenty of savory dishes, particularly from the Middle East and North Africa. Fresh mint is perfect for summer fresh salads, to liven up a sauce, or to brew fragrant teas. The cooling flavor is also used to temper spicy curries. Roast leg of lamb is classically served with fresh mint sauce. Uses of herbs in cooking. Herbs have been used in cooking in all cuisines of the world since ages. The prime reason for their use in food is to mask the flavor of certain strong smelling foods, and the secondary reason is for their nutritional benefits and medicinal values. Following are some uses of herbs. Number one, flavoring. Herbs can be chopped, minced, torn, and added to soups, sauces, gravies, and curries. They can be used whole as sprigs. Bouquet which means bunch of herbs. Herbs are tied together in a string, in a bouquet. Bouquet consists of few sprigs of parsley, thyme, and rosemary tied together with a sprig, with a string. Herbs can be chopped, minced, torn, and added to soups, sauces, gravies, and curries. The bouquet is immersed into cooking liquid for a while and then removed so that the food acquires the flavor but does not get discolored due to the cooking herbs. Chopped herbs can be used in sausages and stuffings for various cold cuts. Herbs can also be used for flavoring cheeses, cakes, breads, and cookies. Second use of herbs is garnishing. Herbs are commonly used for garnishing. They can be minced finely or used as whole leaf for decorating foods and desserts. Some of the classic way of using herbs as a garnish are: number one, fine herbs. The French word means an assortment of finely chopped, fresh, seasonal herbs. The most commonly used herbs in the assortment are parsley, thyme, tarragon, and chervil. Sprigs. Sprigs of fresh herbs are immersed in ice cold water till they become super crisp and then used erect on dishes to add height to the dish and to improve its aesthetic value. Deep fried. Herbs such as parsley, curry leaves, basil, and rosemary are deep fried for garnishing. Deep frying makes them extra crisp and dark green in color. Seasoning. Herbs are used for seasoning foods in the following ways. Number one, saltless seasoning. A mixture of dried herbs like dill, thyme, and oregano are combined with dried onion, sesame seeds, black pepper, dried lemon peel, paprika, and garlic powder to make a saltless seasoning. These are used as a substitute for salt for those who have high blood pressure or, or are in low sodium diets. Second, herbal salts. Powdered rock salt or just table salt is mixed with dried herbs to make herbal salts. This mixture is stored in an airtight container for about 1 or 2 months and then ground together till they blend well. Number 4, herbal oils. Oils can be flavored by one or more herbs. These oils are used for making vinaigrettes or dressings for salads and also used for glazing meat. They can also be used for making sauces. Basil oil is commonly used in Italian cuisine. Herbal drinks. Herbs have been drunk since centuries as a decoction, as a cure for diseases, as mild as headaches, and as severe as cancer. In fact, they were used as medicines before medicines were invented. In hotels, the various herbal drinks that are served are herbal teas, herbal water, cocktails, and mocktails. Herbal vinegars. Herbs are infused in vinegar or wine for preserving them for a minimum of 2 weeks under direct sunlight. This leads to not only the preservation of herbs but also in subtly flavoring the vinegar and wines. Herb butter. This is made by mixing soft butter and chopped herbs. Some of the most commonly compound butters are Maître d'Hôtel butter, Café de Paris butter, and chive butter. Sauces and spreads. Herbs can also be used as combination and cooked to make sauces, soups, and spreads that can be used such as herb sauces, mint sauce, chutneys, spreads, and marinades. Today's presentation is about understanding vegetables. Let us try to take a concrete step in understanding vegetables. The presentation today is divided into three distinct sections. The first section deals about classifying vegetables. This was dealt with by me earlier also, but today we are going to be classifying vegetables in three different methods. After doing that, we will move to the second topic, which is cooking vegetables in a different way. And last but not the least, a small presentation about some vegetables which perhaps most of us have never seen or dealt with, called unique vegetables. I am Chef Professor Anand Mittal, Principal of IHM Meerut. You may want to note down my email address. It is dir.acad@ihmmeerut.com in case there are any questions, queries, clarifications that you may want to pose to me post the presentation. During the presentation, I would like you to please put your questions, comments, queries, perhaps your experiences in the chat box. Let us begin then with the presentation called Understanding Vegetables. There are four ways to classify vegetables according to the part of the plant they come from, according to the flavor that the vegetables have, according to their color, and last but not the least, whether they are starchy or watery. The first method of classification, the part of the plant where the vegetables come from. Vegetables may be classified as tubers, for example, potatoes, and bulbs, for example, chives, onion, and garlic. Roots, beets, turnip, carrot, and radish. Stem, asparagus, celery, and mushrooms. Leaves, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, greens, lettuce, spinach. Seeds, beans, peas, corn. Flowers, artichoke, cauliflower, broccoli. Fruit, cucumber, eggplant, tomatoes, and peppers. The second method of classifying vegetables is according to their flavor. Different vegetables have different flavors. The strong flavored vegetables are onions, leeks, and garlic. They are very strong flavored. Onions, leeks, and garlic. These are not so strong as onions, leeks, and garlic, but they are strong flavored. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, strong flavored. Turnips, strong flavored. Cauliflower and cabbage. Red cabbage as well as green cabbage. The mild flavored vegetables are spinach, mild flavored. Spinach, celery, beets, peas, corn, squash, pumpkins, green beans, potatoes, mild flavored, and carrots. Vegetables can be classified according to their colors also. Green colored vegetables such as peas, green beans, asparagus, celery, broccoli, and spinach. Red colored vegetables such as beets, red cabbage, and red peppers. Yellow or orange colored vegetables such as carrots, wax beans, corn, squash, and sweet potatoes. Or white colored vegetables such as onions, potatoes, cauliflower, and leeks. So broadly speaking, there are four colors that all vegetables may be classified into: green, red, yellow, orange, or white. The fourth and the last method of classification that I have considered is whether the vegetables are starchy or watery. Starchy vegetables include potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and legumes, dry beans. The vegetables with a high water content are tomatoes, lettuce, and celery. Lettuce and all leafy vegetables. Celery is very high in water and tomatoes are full of water. Having dealt with classification, let us move on to the second part of today's presentation is about cooking vegetables. The first slide in this series is about controlling quality changes during cooking. Cooking affects vegetables in four ways. It changes the texture, it changes their flavor, it changes the color of the vegetables, and cooking alters the nutrient value of the food after cooking. One of the nutrients which is present in only in vegetables in a large quantity is fiber. The fiber is the cellulose. It is not very digestible by the human body, but it adds bulk to the food, bulk which helps carrying the food to different parts of the body. When we cook food, there are changes in the texture of vegetables. What happens to the fiber? Fiber sometimes hardens and sometimes it softens depending upon how we are cooking. The amount of fiber in food varies in different vegetables. In mature vegetables, there is more fiber, and in young vegetables, the amount of fiber is lesser, and in different parts of the same vegetable. So, in some parts of the vegetable, there may be more fiber, and in some parts of the same vegetable, there may be lesser amount of fiber. Controlling texture changes in fiber. Fiber is made firm or soft depending upon the way it is cooked to the degree that it is cooked. Fiber may be made firmer by cooking vegetables in an acidic medium or by cooking vegetables in a medium which is high in sugars. These are the two factors which make the fibers firm. The third factor which keeps the fiber firm is by not cooking adequately. Fibers are softened by heat, by cooking the vegetables appropriately. That substantially softens the fibers, and by cooking vegetables in a alkaline medium. When we cook vegetables in an alkaline medium, the fiber softens considerably. What happens to starch? How does starch react when we cook? Dry, starchy foods must be cooked in enough water for the starch granules to absorb moisture and soften, also known as gelatinization. Moist, starchy vegetables have enough moisture of their own to soften, to gelatinize the starch granules. They must still be cooked until the starch granules soften. Doneness. A vegetable is said to be done when it reaches the desired degree of tenderness. There is a desired degree of tenderness. That is where the expertise of the chef comes in. Only when it has reached the doneness, then should the fire be removed. Some, such as winter squash, eggplant, and braised celery, are considered properly cooked when they are quite soft. Most vegetables are best cooked very briefly until they are crisp tender or al dente. Al dente is an Italian word which literally translated means firm to the bite. It has no place in the Indian cookery. Al dente has no place in the Indian cookery because we believe in cooking vegetables thoroughly before eating. Cooking produces flavor loss. When we cook food, the changes in flavor are that the flavor becomes lesser cooking. Flavor loss can be controlled in different ways. Cook for as short a time as possible. Use boiling salted water. Starting vegetables in boiling water shortens cooking time. So before you add vegetables to water, make sure the water is boiling. This will shorten the cooking time. The addition of salt helps reduce flavor loss. The third point, use just enough water to cover the food. Minimizes leaching of flavor, color, and nutrients. Leaching means transferring of flavor, color, and nutrients from the vegetables to the medium in which they are being cooked, to the water. That is leaching. And fourth, steam vegetables wherever appropriate. Steaming reduces leaching out of flavor and it shortens the cooking time. Controlling flavor changes, cooking and sweetness. Young, freshly harvested vegetables have a relatively high sugar content that makes them taste sweet. As they mature or as they sit in storage, the sugar gradually changes to starch. Try to serve young, fresh vegetables that have been stored as short a time as possible. Vegetables are best had fresh and young. Color changes. How do you control color changes? Cooking produces flavor loss. Cooking produces certain chemical changes. As long as the vegetables are not overcooked, this change is desirable. Overcooking produces undesirable changes, especially in members of the cabbage family. They develop a strong, unpleasant flavor. Color changes to white vegetables. Pigments are compounds that give vegetables their color. Pigments called anthocyanins and flavonoids range from pale yellow to white. White pigments stay white in acid and yellow in alkaline water. Red vegetables, red pigments called anthocyanins are found in only a few vegetables, mainly red cabbage and beets. Acid turns anthocyanins a brighter red. Alkalis turn anthocyanins blue or blue-green, not a very appetizing color. So the best way to cook red vegetables is just in boiling salted water or boiling plain water without the addition of any acid nor with the addition of any base. Green vegetables. Chlorophyll is present in all green plants. Acids are enemies of green vegetables. Never cook green vegetables in acidic medium. Both acid and long cooking turns green vegetables a drab olive green. Protect the color of green vegetables by cooking uncovered to allow plant acids to escape. Cooking for the shortest possible time. Properly cooked green vegetables are tender, crisp, not mushy. Cooking in small batches rather than holding for long periods in a steam table. Do not use baking soda to maintain the green color. Alkalis destroy vitamins and make the texture of vegetables unpleasant, mushy, and slippery. Also, baking soda reduces the shelf life of the green vegetables. So, it should never be used. Controlling color changes of yellow and orange vegetables. Yellow and orange vegetables have carotenoids, which are the yellow and orange pigments. These pigments are very stable. They are little affected by acids or alkalis. Short cooking prevents dulling of the color and preserves vitamins and flavors. Controlling nutrient losses while cooking. 6 factors are responsible for most nutrient loss. They are number 1, high temperature, 2, long cooking, 3, leaching, dissolving out. Leaching will happen when you let the vegetables stay in the water after cooking them for some time. You will see the color of the water begins to change and the color of the vegetables becomes duller. The fourth method of controlling nutrient losses while cooking is by the use of alkalis, baking soda, or cooking them in hard water. The fifth method of controlling nutrient losses is plant enzymes, which are active at warm temperatures but destroyed by high heat. Please avoid high temperature. And last but not the least, oxygen. Oxygen is responsible for loss of nutrients. Oxidation of the nutrients take place. Cooking in little liquid versus lot of liquid. Using a lot of liquid increases vitamin loss by leaching. Using a little liquid increasing cooking time. Tests have shown that for these reasons, no more nutrients are lost when vegetables are cooked in a lot of water than when vegetables are cooked in just enough water to cover. General rules of vegetable cooking: do not overcook. Cook as close to service time as possible and in small quantities. Avoid holding for long periods on a steam table. If the vegetables must be cooked ahead of the time, undercook slightly and chill rapidly. Reheat at the service time. Never use baking as a cooking method for green vegetables. Cut vegetables uniformly for even cooking. Start with boiling salted water when boiling green vegetables and other vegetables that grow above the ground. Roots and tubers are started in cold salted water for more even cooking. Cook green vegetables and strong flavored vegetables uncovered. To preserve color, cook red and white vegetables in a slightly acidic, not strong acid liquid. To preserve color, cook red and white vegetables in a slightly acid liquid. Do not mix a batch of freshly cooked vegetables with a batch of the same vegetable that was cooked earlier and kept hot on a steam table. Standards of quality in cooked vegetables. Color. Color of the vegetable should be bright and natural. Appearance on plate. Cut neatly and uniformly, not broken up. Texture. Cooked to the right degree of doneness. And flavor. Full natural flavor and sweetness. Seasonings. Vegetables should be lightly and appropriately seasoned. Sauces, butter and seasoned butter should be fresh and not used heavily. Vegetable combinations, flavors, colors, textures should be pleasantly added for a proper combination. Washing. Wash all vegetables thoroughly. How to handle vegetables? Root vegetables should be scrubbed off with a stiff vegetable brush. Wash green leafy vegetables in several changes of cold water. After washing, drain well and refrigerate lightly covered. Soaking. Do not soak vegetables for long periods. Flavors and nutrients leach out. Dried legumes are soaked for several hours before cooking to replace moisture loss in drying. Dried beans absorb their weight in water. So 1 kg beans becomes 2 kgs when soaked in water. Handling vegetables, peeling and cutting. Peel most vegetables as thinly as possible. Cut vegetables into uniform pieces for even cooking. Peel and cut vegetables as close to cooking time as possible. Treat vegetables that brown easily with an acid such as lemon juice or an antioxidant solution, or hold under water until ready to use. Some vitamins and minerals may be lost. Save edible trim for soups, stocks, and vegetable gravies. Handling frozen vegetables. Checking quality, temperature, large ice crystals, signs of leaking on the carton, and freezer burn. These are the 4 points that you should consider while checking the quality of frozen vegetables. Temperature, ice crystals, leaking of the carton, and freezer burn. Handling canned vegetables, checking quality, reject damaged cans on receipt. Puffed or swollen cans indicate spoilage. Know the drained weight. Typical drained weights are 60 to 65% of total contents. And check the grade. Production and holding problems in quantity cooking. Batch cooking and blanch and chill. Batch cooking involves dividing the food into smaller batches and cooking them one at a time as needed. Blanch and chill involves partially cooking, chilling, and finish cooking. It is not as good nutritionally as cooking completely to order, but is almost as good. Storage. Fresh vegetables. How should the fresh vegetables be stored? Potatoes, onions, and winter squash are stored at cool temperatures in a dry, dark place, 0 to 18 degrees centigrade in a dry, dark place. Other vegetables must be refrigerated. Peeled and cut vegetables need extra protection from drying and oxidation. Cover or wrap and use quickly to prevent spoilage. Frozen vegetables. Store at minus 18 degrees centigrade, 0 degrees Fahrenheit or colder in original containers until ready to use. Do not refreeze thawed vegetables. Please remember this. Do not refreeze thawed vegetables. Either use them or throw them away if there is no need. But do not refreeze. Leftovers. The best way to store leftovers is not to create them in the first place. Now with this COVID pandemic especially, please understand that if there are any leftovers, please throw them away. So the best way to deal with leftovers is not to create them in the first place. And about leftovers, please do not mix batches. We move on to the last part of today's presentation, which is unique vegetables. Some vegetables are unique, very rarely to be seen. Fruits and pods such as ground berries, tomatilla, strawberry tomatoes, Cape gooseberry. In roots and stems, we have kohlrabi, celeriac, and fennel. So these are the vegetables that we are going to be showing. What makes vegetable unique? They are not widely grown by gardeners. Why are they widely not grown by the gardeners? Because they are foremost, they are not commercially viable. Otherwise, they are parts of a specific cuisine. So they are not parts of general cuisine. They are difficult to grow and they are unusual in taste. The taste needs to be acquired. Ground cherry or husk tomato, called tomatillo Physalis, is the botanical name. Native Americans preferred Physalis species more than tomatoes. They are a genus related to tomatoes. They produce abundant small fruit that are surrounded by a husk covering like a gift, harvested when the husk begins to break, as shown in the picture. Tomatillo, strawberry tomatoes, and Cape gooseberry belong to the Physalis category. At the bottom left, you see a ripe husk tomato. Growing practices are similar to tomato. Strawberry tomatoes, Physalis pubescens. Around July, the fruit will begin to drop to the ground and should be gathered. When ripe, it has a flavor similar to that of strawberry or tomato pineapple. Cape gooseberry, Physalis peruviana. It has superior fruit compared to strawberry tomato. Commonly grown in warmer climates, does not tolerate rain or wet soils. It is grown from the seed. Kohlrabi. Kohlrabi, Brassica oleracea, originated in Germany. Kohlrabi is a German word which literally translated means cabbage turnip. It has flavors similar to cabbage and turnip. Flavor similar to cabbage and turnip but milder and sweeter. It is available in several varieties. Celeriac. Celeriac is enlarged bulb harvested when 10 to 12 centimeters in diameter. It is also called celery root, knob celery, or turnip rooted celery. It does not grow abundantly. It is edible both raw and cooked. Its taste is similar to that of celery stalk. It has a high shelf life of over 6 months. The older it gets, the weaker does its flavor become. Fennel is a vegetable which is not grown widely, but it's used a lot in the kitchens. Fennel is strongly flavored and finds a lot of uses in the kitchen. It is used fresh in salads, balancing sweetness with sharpness of onion, fish with fennel, braised fennel, and fennel with chicken or meatballs. Nutrients in vegetables. Vitamin A. The function of vitamin A is that it promotes normal growth of bones and teeth. It helps maintain healthy skin tissue and night vision. Sources of vitamin A in vegetables: leafy green and deep yellow vegetables, broccoli, spinach, carrots, and squash. Vitamin C. Functions of vitamin C: it helps body form and maintain collagen. Vitamin C helps body repair itself and fight infections, a need of the day today. The sources of vitamin C in vegetables are leafy greens and broccoli, green peppers, tomatoes, and cabbage. Nutrients in vegetables: B vitamins, functions, prevents beriberi, helps body use carbohydrates, helps body break down proteins. The sources of vitamin B in vegetables are seed vegetables, dry beans, and lima beans and peas. Functions of minerals in the human body. Minerals: body needs 21 minerals to maintain good health, needed to build bones, soft tissue, and other compounds. The vegetable sources of minerals in our food is spinach, which is high in iron, kale, which is high in calcium. Chlorophyll is a nutrient in vegetables. It is a substance found in plants that make them green. Carbohydrates: sugar, starch, and cellulose are forms of carbohydrates present in vegetables, supplies the body with energy. And carbohydrates are found in a high quantity in potatoes. Forms of vegetables, selection and storage. Fresh vegetables should be crisp, bright in color, firm, and there should be absence of decay. Storage: fresh vegetables should be stored in the refrigerator and they should be eaten not long after purchasing or after production. Canned vegetables. The advantages of canned vegetables are that they are pre-cooked and convenient to use. The disadvantage of canned vegetables are that they are higher in sodium and they are possibly mushy in texture. How should we store canned vegetables? They should be stored at room temperature and we should strictly follow any expiration date if given on the can. How to deal with frozen vegetables? Frozen vegetables, the benefits of frozen vegetables are that they are partially prepared, like canned vegetables. That there is no need to thaw them before cooking. We can directly begin cooking of the frozen vegetables from the freezer to the pan right away. No sodium is added to them like in canned vegetables. Fresh frozen vegetables retain the appearance and flavor of freshly picked vegetables. Frozen vegetables are less costlier than fresh vegetables, and frozen vegetables make it possible for us to use vegetables round the year. They are available out of the season also. How do we store frozen vegetables? Keep them frozen at minus 18 degrees centigrade or lower. And remember this, I have said this earlier also, do not refreeze if thawed. Once they become soft, we should never refreeze them. We should either use them or just simply throw them away. Dried vegetables. Most common dried vegetables are legumes, dried beans. The benefits of dried vegetables are they have a very long shelf life, and the disadvantage of dried vegetables are that we must soak them before cooking. Storage. Store in a cool, dry storeroom. Prepare vegetables with care. Cook for the shortest time possible. Shortest time is underlined. Heat destroys some vitamins. Use some vitamins dissolve in cooking water. Pare or cut just before cooking. Air and light destroy some vitamins. Prepare the largest pieces possible to expose the smallest surface area to all of the above. Shortest time, little water, just before cooking, and largest pieces possible. Serve or save cooking liquid. Use it in soups, sauces, gravies, and stews. Don't throw away the nutrients in the cooking water. During cooking, these are the changes that happen to vegetables. The cellulose fiber becomes softened by the heat and moisture in cooking. The starch absorbs water, swells, and becomes easier to digest. Flavors and colors undergo changes. Some of the nutrients may be lost. Methods of vegetable cookery. Boiling should be done in a small amount of water in a covered pan. Baking. Bake vegetables in their own skins after washing them thoroughly. And the picture shows some baked vegetables. Mushrooms, onion, cauliflower, potatoes, carrots. French frying. Fry vegetables after dipping in batter or crumbs. French fries are not fried either in batter or in crumbs, but if we lightly coat the potato fingers in corn flour and then fry them, then the potato French fries become extra crisp. Fry them in hot oil deep enough to cover the vegetables. Stir frying. Stir fry vegetables in 1 to 2 tablespoons of fat in a skillet, pan, or wok. Stir frying is when we stir the vegetables and fry them in a little amount of fat. Broiling or grilling. Broiling or grilling, the difference between broiling and grilling is, even though the same equipment is used for both, that in broiling we do not use any fat, and in grilling we use fat. We brush or baste vegetables with fat while grilling. Brush vegetables with fat or oil in case of grilling, and in case of broiling, broil over or under direct heat. So tomatoes are usually broiled because they have a high water content, and most other vegetables are grilled with the help of oil or fat. Steaming. Steaming is one of the best ways of cooking vegetables. It reduces leaching, reduces leaching of nutrients and colors and flavors into the cooking liquid, and it cooks faster. Steam mild flavored vegetables in steamer over rapidly boiling water. A microwave can also be used to steam vegetables. Veggies cooked in the microwave. What are the benefits? Benefits are little or no nutrient loss. They are good in flavor and texture. Note: remember to pierce vegetables cooked in their skins. For example, piercing a potato with a fork. Otherwise, it may burst upon cooking in the microwave. Qualities of cooked vegetables. Properly cooked vegetables are colorful, flavorful, and tender crisp in texture. Overcooked or improperly cooked vegetables may suffer undesirable changes in color, texture, and flavor, and they may lose many of their nutrients. This is the last slide, second last slide, I would say, of today's presentation. Principles on vegetable cookery. The goal is to protect the vegetables' color, texture, flavor, and nutrition. Length of cooking time. Cook vegetables only until fork tender. Fork tender means that they should be able to be picked up with the help of a fork. They should not slide out of the fork, that is overcooked. And the fork should not find it very difficult to penetrate, that is undercooked. Overcooking dulls the color, gives an unpleasant flavor, and causes the vegetables to become mushy. With that, we come to an end to today's presentation. There is, however, the last slide, which is about a quiz. There are a lot of questions that I wanted to ask, but since this is purely a presentation given over the net, so nevertheless, there are two questions that I would like to pose to you. Please put the answers in chat if you know. The first question is, what is the main nutrient missing in vegetables? So I've told you that vegetables have got vitamins, they've got minerals, they've got so many other things. So what is the main nutrient which is missing in vegetables? I'll give you 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is fat. The second question, which is easier for the body to digest? Raw vegetables or cooked vegetables? Please put the answer in the chat box quickly. I'm waiting. which is easier for the body to digest, raw vegetables or cooked vegetables? Ending the quiz in 3 and the presentation in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is cooked vegetables. Thank you very much, viewers, attendees, for watching the presentation today. I hope it was gainful. I would now like to end today's show and would like to request all to stay safe during these testing times, stay at home, follow good personal hygiene. Whenever you go out of the house, please cover yourselves well. Try to avoid crowded places, try to avoid touching surfaces, people. Do not use the same footwear that you were using outside at home. Change your footwear, change your clothes, take a bath when you come home. Do anything and everything possible to make sure that you are safe. And I would like to also thank God for blessing us and keeping the disease, the coronavirus, away from us. Thank you, and I wish you a very good day today. May God bless you.